And we're live.
And we're live.
We're live with Becca, my friend. So I kind of have the unfair advantage of knowing Becca, so it won't be like a truly, I don't know what's the word. What word would you use? Like a truly just pioneering interview, I suppose.
Steve, how long have we known each other?
Well, Becca, I think we've known each other for maybe...
Just a decade?
Is it a decade? I feel like it's longer, but maybe not.
Minimum decade, let's say.
Did we meet at church?
Actually, we met in Central Square.
Really?
Yeah, through Liz, my sister.
Is that the first time we met?
I think so. And I think we played Settlers of Catan.
Is that when I spilled the beer in my bag?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that was the first time?
That was the first
Wow,
time.
little did you know how symbolic that would be of how I And then from there, I think we went to church and stuff. I think that's kind of how we... And then I think you led a small group, right?
Actually, I did.
Okay,
in
all
the
right.
very same place I just walked out of.
Talk to me about church and small group. What is small group? What is that? What are your thoughts on it?
I see small group as a small group of people that go to church.
Yeah,
They get together and have some form of church
right.
in a person's home.
I always found it kind of weird.
Why is that?
Like, it's awkward, and there's people that you don't know,
That's true.
and usually they're kind of losers. Have you noticed that, or is that just me?
Okay, well, I would have to say that there's some people that I connect with better than others, and they've become actually some of my best friends in the world
Oh, okay.
over time.
Yeah, they're not all like...
And then I would say there's certain people in groups that I would not meet otherwise.
True,
But
true.
I've learned a lot from them, and I've gained from their experiences.
What's one thing you think you learned? To put you on the spot.
Ooh. That's a great question. I think one thing I've learned is that everyone has a life journey,
Okay, yes.
and and a lot of us share some similar pains and similar joys, no matter where we come from. And
Okay,
and I know it's a very broad statement.
yes.
It's very generalized.
It's okay, though. No, it makes sense, though.
But and part of that is that each one of us needs God.
Right.
So I think that's really one thing that I've learned, that not to take for granted any interaction with any other person, because they can teach me more about God. And maybe in turn I teach them more about God, and it doesn't have to mean that we're best friends, but we have this connection
There's
together.
a connection, a commonality, a common pursuit, I think.
That's it.
So, okay, now you grew up the child of a pastor, right?
Well, when I was a child, he wasn't a pastor. Actually, he became a pastor in my adult life.
Okay.
But he was always my dad was always really connected with the church, and he was a worship leader.
He was?
Oh yeah.
I did not know that.
He was really awesome at what he did, and taking care of the church building and the expenses, and
Yeah.
as an associate pastor.
Well, for me, when I think of pastor, I think of you're talking a lot, you're this role model for people. Most pastors I know have a weird pastory voice. And I think they kind of have to do that, maybe, or I don't know, because people kind of put them in this role, perhaps.
It is kind of funny how there are some pastors that have that pastor voice. I don't think my dad had a pastoral voice.
Did that affect you at all growing up, him being a pastor? Did it turn you on more to the church? Did it turn you on less? Was it kind of neutral?
Well, I think when I was a kid, I got, when I was a teenager, I was like, I don't want to have anything to do with this.
Yeah, of course, like any teenager.
But I would say one thing that I felt was really fundamental is that my dad told me at a young age, I think maybe it was 11, that I didn't have to believe what they believed.
No shit. He said that to you.
He said that.
Hmm.
I think he was trying reverse psychology. To be
I mean,
honest.
I think it's brilliant because
Yeah.
you have to own it, right? At the end of the day, I think.
Yeah, but whether it was reverse psychology or not, it's a moment that still sticks with me to this day.
That's really cool.
That it's not something that's forced upon me, that it's my own choice to do. So
Yeah.
even though they wanted me to participate in the cultural, traditional activities of the church,
Right.
like go to church as a family, for example, he said that I didn't have to believe that.
Right.
And that just made such a huge difference in my way of seeing it, that it wasn't something that I had to do, but it was something that if I felt like doing, I could do it.
You could do it. And what was it to you? Like, what do you think that was?
Well,
Believe it. What's that exactly?
I guess I've always wrestled with who God is, who Jesus is, and
Right.
what cultural Christianity is. And I think that I always had a viewpoint that I wasn't a big fan of cultural Christianity, but I did know that God existed and that there was something there. There was something more there. And I liked that part, but the only thing I knew at that time as a kid was that cultural Christianity and God were the same thing.
Right.
So-
Okay. Right.
So I was very cautious, I would say, about the way I approached church. That I wasn't really super into it, but I knew that there was something important about there.
Right.
There was something more that I wanted from it, but there was also things that I just didn't really like about it.
How did you know that God existed? Like, what? You had this conviction. Why? Where did that come from?
Can I walk down here?
Sure.
I would say I had this moment when I was probably 9 years old, 8 or 9 years old, where I was selected to play on the elementary school kickball team for my grade. And
That's kind of momentous, though, when you're that. Like, that's actually a pretty big moment.
it was the 3rd and 4th grade kickball game, and I was selected as a 3rd grader. So to me, it was the most amazing thing in the world because athletics are really important to me.
Totally.
And the night before the game, I was playing at my neighbor's house on the slip and slide, and I landed really bad on my ankle, and I twisted it. And it was swollen and pain. I couldn't put any weight on it. Yeah, I just was so upset about it. And my parents had a Bible study.
That would be crushing.
Yeah, it was
Totally
It
crushing.
was just awful. Yeah, and my parents had a Bible study that they went to, and it happened to be that evening, and they believed in the power of prayer to heal people.
This is when it happened?
So I ended up, they prayed for my ankle, and again, that entire evening, I couldn't do anything. I've had, even, by 3rd grade, I had a number of injuries already that I knew that this was really bad.
Right. Really, by 3rd grade?
Yeah,
Damn, Becca.
knee stuff.
See, I knew you torched it up, man.
Yeah, so, anyway, I woke up the next day, and it was perfect.
Really?
Yeah, there was it's like nothing ever happened to my ankle. And I knew, even at 3rd grade, that wasn't something...
That was unusual.
That was completely unusual, that there was no way that the amount of swelling that had occurred the night before,
Wow.
there's no way that would have gone down without any bruise. There was no bruise, there was nothing. I knew enough that I wasn't going to play in that game.
It was the following day, right? Or whatever.
It was the following day.
Really?
Yeah.
What did your parents say about that?
They just, I think they were happy for me.
Were they surprised?
I don't know if maybe they were,
Right.
but I think they just believed that it could happen. And, I have to be honest that I've been injured many times, but
There are things that you prayed for that it hasn't gone down like
I
that.
haven't been healed, but in that particular case, I was, and I know that was just such a fundamental thing for me at that time, that even to this day, I look back and when I question whether God exists or not, I look back to that moment and
You remember that?
I just know that was not human. That there's no way to explain
Yeah.
what happened.
Yeah.
I know.
All right. It's been a while since I filmed anything, so this is kind of a good milestone for me. I feel like this is my destiny. It really does feel that way. I guess we'll find out. But so I'm about to do a shot, meet up with my friend Becca, about to do a shot. And the theme is like art and spirituality. But I think, to me, like, spirituality is basically just life, and everyone has access to this thing, so we're just going to talk, and hopefully moments happen, and that's really all it is. We're going to see what God has for us, I guess you could say, or what the moment has for us, and that's it. So I'm excited. It's a long time coming, man. I had to recover a lot mentally. It's just, there's a lot going on up here, always. But all right, so this is the first one, man. Let's do it.